Sound, I think I'd asked you this before, but you took Ardeer up, right? Like, in your sort of time, and you've already gotten promoted.
Aye, but I took them back down, I know. We got relegated the next year. But aye, we got promoted the first year. As I say, I don't like, if somebody says you've done something well, I just bring it back down straight away.
Sean, Kenney, man's Ardeer, Thistle, and an old pal of mine. Thanks very much for doing this, bud. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, mate.
No worries. Right, so I kind of said to you before, as I understand it, you were obviously involved with West Kilbride amateur team up there, and then Ardeer were going to fold, I think was the sort of rumours, and then it looks as though the team kind of got amalgamated together, and then you basically took over Ardeer for there. So you want to just kind of gaze the background of how you get involved with Ardeer basically and take it from there.
Mate, I need to dig you up straight away. It's Kilbride Thistle.
Kilbride Thistle, alright.
So West Kilbride were the rivals. Kilbride Thistle was my team coming through.
Alright, I fucked up right away.
I can't let that one slide on my thing. But aye, we'd been at Kilbride. When we moved in, we moved to West Kilbride for Tocross. I was 10 and we started at that team then. It was Kilbride boys. Same group of boys come all the way through. We went amateurs. I think we were the only team that's come through 4th Division, 3rd Division, 2nd, 1st, stayed in the Premier at the first time. And then we got progressively better every year. Hungerford Shortleys were the top teams, Glenburn. We were just after that, really, and it's disappointing. You look back at the players that we had that we never won more, but it's something that annoys me still now, but you can't do anything about it. But we ended up, we tried to apply to go to the West of Scotland League, it was the old juniors. My opinion, a wee bit of politics stopped it because we were far good enough to go, and the club was run well enough to go.
Did they give you like any specific reasons that you can share, or is no point getting into it because it was so long ago? And
no, there's nothing to hide. I was told by one of the guys on the committee of the people who made decisions that he wouldn't have another team playing it. We had to play at Kilwinning for a year. And they wouldn't have another team playing at Kilwinning. That was sent an email, which I was surprised about. Even though we had to play it a year, then maybe a year or two later, a team called Eglinton were formed for Kilwinning. Eglinton had a lot of good guys, Willis Shearer, their manager. So it was not the day with Eglinton, it was not the day with him at all. It was just a wee bit of politics, I thought, before Eglinton had joined up, nothing to do with Eglinton. But it turned out to be a blessing in disguise, because just when we got the knockback, Ardeer then phoned me, Peter McBlain phoned me. I remember I was stuck in traffic, coming here, and my job was a van driver. Stuck in traffic in Edinburgh, got demented, I hate sitting about, I got all agitated and all that, and the phones went, and it was Peter, and we had a chat, and he offered me the job on the phone. I said, I'll need to come in and speak to you, and obviously there's things I need at mine. It's a big call for me. I've been at Kilbride Thistle for a long time, loved it. But we went, and for the group of boys that we had, we'd set up a team to go and enter the West of Scotland League. So it was the best thing for them, for us all, to take that step there. I always felt that I was ready to go over. I spoke to Peter and Ronnie, who's still with us now, old Ronnie, and we agreed to go down, and that's how we got started.
Was it the signing on for you, the wages you were negotiating, was it?
That's it, mate. Ardeer, it's known for being big spenders and things like that. That's how we actually, that was one of the funny things. If anybody knows Ardeer, we don't have anything. But when we signed, we were signing Calvin Kemp. Calvin was a smashing player. I know Calvin, I got on great with him. He's probably not done what he should have done in football, but he's a dog, good on as well. And we brought Calvin in just because of my relationship with Calvin and getting on really well with him. And that was on the famous Pine Bovril, how Ardeer were washing money and all of that. And I was this and I was that. I thought, I'm doing great hiding it. My 1 litre polo sitting out there, really feeling it or nothing. But I'm washing money through Ardeer, signing Calvin and other boys.
And what about, you're obviously, you're talking about how at the amateur team obviously went into the juniors. Were you able to take the full squad of boys, or was there already boys there? Like how did it work in that sort of initial stage?
There was no players when we went to Ardeer. There was no players. There was no strips. We didn't have a full set of strips or anything. So we took our full squad over. I say my plan was to take that squad to say it's easier to call it juniors, but it's obviously West of Scotland League now, but it's known as the juniors. So we took the boys over. The full squad went over. we done well. We punched above our weight, but it was the transit. I had been building a team during COVID and things like that to go and take that step anyway. I wanted it to be under Thistle's banner, but with that not being possible, the next best thing was taking them through Ardeer, and we've not looked back since being at Ardeer.
Aye. What year was that again? Sean, just remind us.
Mate, I'm terrible. This is my first season at Ardeer, so that about
2021 or something like that.
Must have been about that.
Oh, that's fine. That's more important anyway. And what about like that initial stage then? Was there anything like sort of difficult moments that you had to like, overcome, or did the did it sound like maybe you hit the ground running? Like any good moments, any good sort of trips with the boys or the supporters, anything that sort of sticks out in your mind for the sort of early days that really kind of made you like think I've made the right decision here, you know? Or it sounds like there wasn't any doubts anyway, but just
it wasn't an easy call though, mate. As I say, Matt, I'm a real loyal guy, and I remember when we went and I'd told my dad, with the support I get from mum and my dad, my family, everything. Even at Ardeer, they do so much for me and they give me so much support. But they did the same at Kilbride ways, and they've come through it always at Kilbride. And I says to my dad, and he called me a fucking snake or something like that. But it was obviously joking, but that was my dad's reaction. It was words to that effect anyway, definitely, but that's kind of how I'm in. It's like, aye, we'll not be delicate fathers in my house. We'll have a bit of a laugh and a joke.
Aye, a bit of banter, it sounds like. But
aye, you know, we went over, and I think the fans have admitted it and we've spoken about it. And a lot of people thought I was coming for the amateurs. Ardeer had really been flying high, but it's still a big step bringing in a full amateur team, an amateur manager, and there was a lot of doubts and there was a lot of scepticism for the fans, and they admitted that. And when we came in, we wanted to do things different. I'm big going, I hate it people say, but we've always done it this way. I hate that. That does me not. Like, go and be different, but no different for the sake of being different. Go and make something work, go and find your own ideas. So we did that. We did the social media. The social media was massive. Real social media is excellent. So all that sort of thing, the interviews, all that. And I remember people going, who are these guys? What are they? And in friendlies and all that, pre-season, I hate pre-season friendlies because you need to play a full squad at times and you lose a bit of momentum and then you start off well and you sort of dip a wee bit in games and all that. So they're really false. Even in the other side, you win a game and you hang all the world beaters, but pre-season's false. So it was up and down a wee bit in the first pre-season, but then when we got to the competitive games, I think we won 8 in the bounce. And it sort of took everybody by surprise, and I think the fans were on board. And that's what I always say, listen, we need to win games of football and get people on board. It's as simple as that. And we done well with the start. It was a good run.
And what about, like, was there any issues with the community in West Kilbride, like, because maybe, I don't know if you had a decent following, when obviously you were quite successful, you was in the paper, like the local paper all the time anyway, so was there anybody sort of did dig you up about it, or would these people sort of supportive? Obviously it sounds like you had a real ambition to move into sort of junior side of things, so hopefully.
There was a few comments, but I think there always is when you go to change, you know, like, people were well within their rights to have their opinion, but I'm well within my rights to ignore their opinion as well. You know, I'm a big enough boy, I can handle that. People were to tell the club that I did feel bad for, obviously moving out of West Kilbride, but we still had the club there. The club predominantly plays out of West Kilbride now. For mainly the 3 towns of Dross and Saltcoats and Stevenson. But there was a few comments, but there always is. People are easy to make comments without actually doing anything about anything themselves, sort of thing, so it doesn't bother me.
Aye, and what about, you were obviously saying then you won your first 8 games, like, what is your influence, like, what's been your influences on fitba? Like, is it Martin O'Neill, or are you like Guardiola? What style of fitba have you tried to play the same style that you were playing in the amateurs with West Kilbride when you went to the juniors, or did you have to adjust a wee bit?
Aye, so we played with Kilbride, we played in an Astro and things like that, and we did try and pass the ball. I was big on it and passing. I still like that, still like to pass, still want to attack. And you can probably see that with our defensive record sometimes. A lot of the times we've scored 50, conceded 50, but it's probably something to work on, to be fair. But we lost 5-4 at the weekend there against Glasgow United, so I could probably do working with my defence and my shape and things like that. But I like exciting football. But I did have to tweak. We do have to change things. When we went to the West of Scotland League, playing against better players, you sort of maybe try and fight for territory a wee bit. And if you're going to play, then you need to suck the team in and you put the ball in behind it first, and then if they drop off, then you can play. And there's a sort of, you're not just allowed to play straight away. I remember, I think my first pre-season game against a team for that level was against Whitlets at Ardeer. I think we lost a goal after 4 or 5 minutes. We kick half it back, we're playing. You know, it gets to the stage now, like, top teams can do it, playing a good surfaces or that sort of thing. We need to play our pitch sometimes, and we put the ball up, we go and squeeze the game, and then again, as I say, if you've sort of got that territory to play in, then you can play. But it's hard. Listen, I love watching Big Ange and all that, but it's easy for Big Ange to say that when he's got the squad that he's got, and that's not against my boys. I like my boys, but they're probably sick of hearing me saying about things like that. It's great to have an ideology about how to play and all that sort of thing, but sometimes you need to make work what you've got as well. And
is the pitch, like, the pitches influence that, like at the sort of junior level, or is it more like you just kind of come against a team who are sort of thinking, you know, they're going to be physical with you, and the game in Scotland and get the junior levels got that reputation that maybe, you know, that's what people daily sort of stick on you?
Well, you know, there's a lot of good football. You need to take care of yourself. Of course you do, but there's a lot of good football players. There's a lot of technical players as well. Our pitch is unique as well. At one point, our pitch was bigger than Hampden. It was one of the biggest parts of Scotland. Hampden's also been made bigger, but Ardeer's part's massive. So we need to use that to our strengths. Whether we do or no, I don't know. That's a criticism of me, but that's something that you would consider. We've went to other places. We went to the game away to Mary Hill last year, and we spoke about sort of the park wasn't great, and the guys up Mary Hill, Mark does a great job up there. They get promoted last year. They stayed up last year, but they've really kicked on this year. And the park wasn't great, and we spoke about the type of winning, obviously, as I say, linked to pass and all that, but it was a bit of a tense game, and I spoke to the boys for it, and I was listening, I don't think about what I'm going to say before I talk to the boy. I have an idea, but I don't practice it right end down, and we'll talk about, lads, listen, big game of the day, says, seen the pitch, just think about a wee bit of dancing. Like, you're at the dancing, you'd like to get a tidy bird. I says, but see, as long as the end of the night you'll get a bird. It doesn't really matter too much after that, and I maybe went into a wee bit more detail what you could do after that. But I say, as long as you get here with a bird tonight, get here with the 3 points, we get pumped that day to the field.
So you know the Mick Kennedy of the North Ayrshire Juniors and the sins of things?
Michael's got that, don't he? I find that. Give him his juice for that, to be fair. I don't think I'll be on BBC anytime soon when my team talks.
I don't know, you might be on Crime Watch, that kind of pattern. No, well, you were talking about, again, like, what's the recruitment process like for you? Like, obviously you brought the team over, but did you have to adjust in the early stages, and how are you spotting players? Is it talking to folks out in the community, or do you get links with like clubs, maybe they released a young boy, or they want to put a young boy on loan? What's the sort of the scouting system like, I suppose, for Ardeer at your level, I suppose?
So that's been the sort of big frustration for my time at Ardeer. It was one of the things I spoke to the old committee about, was don't need a lot of money, I just need to be able to try and keep my team together. I wasn't able to do that. Some big moves come in for some of the boys, and that's great, and they deserved it. But I wasn't able to keep my team together. There wasn't enough structure in place at the club for me to go and speak to you properly and say, listen, I want you to stay next year, and here's what we're going to do, and here's what my plans are, here's what I want to sign. No asking for any more money like that, just to know what I had. We were paying pennies, and we still do. Boys get expenses for fuel, and I don't think it covers the fuel, to be honest. But the boys never ask about money. That's not what it's for. But I do need to have a structure in place where I can go and say to a new player, listen, here's what we've got, here's what I can give you. That's been my first year actually being able to do that as a new committee, and there's just a bit better structure at the club. I've managed to keep boys in extended their contracts. That was the most important thing. There's some good boys there that we've extended their contract for next year. So last year, I think I had to sign. I signed 19 players since the end of last season, and that's not a good thing. That's not what I want to be doing. I mean, the boys that come in are great. Love the boys I've got, but I want to build it. That's not sustainable every year. You can't keep doing that. So it's a bit of stability. Keep your squad together, and then add in a 3 or 4 good ones. That's what the plan is. That's what I'm doing. I know everybody wants to stay, and that's fine. People can move on. But it's contacts, who do you know, watching games of football, people stick out of on a wee list in your head, knowing who's achievable or who's not achievable you could get. And a great scout system's players. Boys will know who good players are they've played against. I've got boys for Clydebank, a couple of boys that come down from Mary Hill, my coaches for Falling the Bank. So they all know people, and that helps as well. I get to watch as many games as I possibly can. I know a lot of people. You beg for some players sometimes as well. Any chance you can help out here, I'm wanting for this, you got this. So it's just everything. You're constantly working, you're constantly looking. But at the same time, you need to keep the back door shut and make sure your players are tied up as well. So look after the boys you've got, and then all your contacts, go and watch as many games. The youths, the amateurs, everything like that. We're in the snobs at Ardeer. We're not above anything. So if there's a good player, I think I can spot a good player, to be fair. And I'm no problem with taking anybody for amateurs. It's usually a different mentality at our level, because it's not often ability that's a problem for the amateur players. It's taking that next step to come out. I'm sometimes murder to play for, like, I'm on a lot. You'd probably not tell with my cheery face, but I do monitor the boys a lot. Sometimes they can't win, just... But one of the boys, Jamie Morgan, for ages he was calling me the Gruffalo. I didn't know what it was, and I thought it was the David Morelos. So I was raging about that. Even more, obviously him being the Buffalo, they call him. And then I found out what the Gruffalo was. It's some grumpy, ginger, hairy cartoon character or something like that. So the boys call me Gruffs, going on a bit green-faced at times. But
I don't know if he identifies as a ginger right after Gruffalo, but... You identify as a ginger, then Sean, is that? Can we clarify that?
Very proud of it, mate. Well, I've not so much anymore, my beard still, but I would love to still be shouting about being ginger, but that's gone as well.
I was going to ask about that actually, because obviously...
Am I here?
No, not your hair. I think you lost that right. The juniors, obviously, is known for the sort of banter and folk shouting and that for the sidelines. Do you get much of that? Like... Does that affect you? Because I said to you, like, you obviously you have to have a thick skin to do what you do, I think.
No, you get a lot of it. You get, especially at Ardeer. Our fans are, well, they're actually a bit legendary. I think everybody knows Ardeer fans at our level, if you've been involved in it. You know, when you've been to Ardeer, it's never a quiet afternoon. The atmosphere Saturday was superb. The Foley's everywhere. We're not played Peterhead. In the Scottish Cup, a team called Buchanan Hearts, I think it was. That's a shock, I can't remember. It was only a couple of months ago, I can't remember. I was suspended, so it doesn't really count anyhow. But they took a bus up, they stayed in Aberdeen the night of 4. I'm a full minibus. Stayed in Aberdeen the night of 4, travelled through to Peterhead to watch the boys play. They were unreal, they're mental. They're absolutely mental. But I've got a few chants for me that they sing, which is always nice. They saw about the ship being a tanker and Sean being I'd never catch on the next word that they say. But that's been nice. That's been nice. My mum couldn't get her head around it at first. She was like, he's winning, and they're still singing that about him. But that was been nice, I think. But the part is brilliant. It's you don't.
Is that part of the allure of the juniors?
I love it. I love it, and every grounds go. I remember going to watch the juniors, and every grounds go. The wee old guy that stands near the dugout and just shouts pelters at the man. Even if he's a Hibs supporter, he still shouts pelters at the Hibs manager. So it's always something that I quite like. I quite like being getting a bit of stick on it. It doesn't bother me if our away fans are that geezer, but that's all right as well. It doesn't bother me at all, mate.
And what did you get suspended for?
You would never believe, honestly, you would never believe
it. A cheeky bastard, is it?
Again, I blame the fans for this one. There might have been a flare let off or something along the lines. It was in the Scottish Cup through in, where were we? Kirkcaldy or somewhere up that way. we that day, I just wanted the game by, to be honest. I think we were about 4-0 done. They got a penalty with 10 to go, and the fans let off a flare. They must have just tried to get rid of his last flare, because it wasn't really one we're celebrating. It was their penalty. And the refs chased after the half you get. We're stopping the game for 10 minutes, but the fans, we go ready, the fans went out and things like that. So my dugout's diagonally across the changing room, so I walked across the park. It's a flare. By the time I walked across, I don't move fast anymore. By the time the smoke's left, it's not the burn about we were in. The time the smoke's up there, it's away. And I was like, when their manager as well was saying the same, if it's away, it's 10 to go. I'm like, I just want to game. Like, up in Kirkcaldy, wherever we are, we're getting pumped. I just want to get down the road here. And he's doing the old... And that's the thing I hate of the refs. I would never be a ref. It's a horrible job, and fair play enough for doing it. But that's sort of dismissive, sort of point the hand away, get away. I'm like... I'm only like... See, like I said about the stick, no, that I could take that all day, that sees people looking down at you, that annoys me, or dismissing you, things like that annoys me. And I said, I'm not trying to help, so I'm just trying to get this game done. It's get away. He's doing man out in here, man. And there was I might get this term wrong, I apologise if I do, a lineswoman, I don't know if that's what you say, but she was brilliant. She explained it to me, and she's like, listen, we just need everyone to calm down, just get in the changing room and then we'll get you back out. And I says to the ref, I says, see the way she just spoke there, that's the way that you should speak to people. Like, and I never swore, I was calm, I really was. And I said, I'm only trying to get a game on, I'm only trying to help you. And he says, you speak to me one more time, I said, you off? And I'm like, you're kidding me on here, I can't. And I says, right. And I said, something. But I wasn't out of order, and I was genuinely trying to help him. And he sent me off. Nobody believes that's what I get sent off for. But that is what I get sent off for that day. But we also got my centre forward sent off during the game. And I did my post-match interview. And I'm saying, look at this, Blues Costa's today. It said he's got sent off. Says, I spoke to him at half time. Says one of the ones, he was on a booking, he's physical, he's out of tackles, and it was, do you take him after, and the old one I says to him, listen, you're one of experienced players, I trust you. I says, don't make me take you off, don't make me sub you, I'm trusting you to stay on. 50th minute, and he has been sent off second jailer. So I'm saying in my post-match, I'm saying, lack of discipline's cost us. We come up here, they're a good team, down to 10 men, it's already hard enough, we're doing 2-0, or 2-1, whatever it was. And I've ranted. And then I'm sitting in the bus in the way here, and I'm thinking, I fucking get sent off and off. I've slated him, and I get sent off as well. So that interview was like, oh, no, bye.
That's what happens, mate. And what about, you spoke about, obviously, maybe the mentality shift between the amateurs and the juniors. How often do you use sort of training, and you maybe talk about that? Because you're obviously juggling your own work. All the guys that are doing it are juggling their work life, their family lives with the fitba. Just talk about maybe some of the pressures that brings, sort of thing.
As I say, I'm demanding on the boys. I expect that we train twice a week. Also, we're playing a Saturday, but I expect the boys to be out. And I think at this level should be out doing extra, out working. What can you do in your spare time that's going to give us the advantage? I'm working football working every night. I'm always doing something. And again, I'm no different. Every manager will be the same, I'd imagine. We're all trying to get that edge. We're all trying to look at what we can do. But as I say, I'm really demanding on the boys. You need to put your extra workouts on the chart. You need to get everything done. Like, everything you'd expect to be done properly. You make a lot of sacrifices. And again, that's what's something that agitates me a lot as well. See if we have I hate a bad training session. Not even a bad session, but just been off it a bit, or just been a bit flat. That gets me. I mean, last Tuesday I wasn't happy. I was the right goal, and it wasn't a bad session. It just wasn't as good as it has been. And I'm always worried about that, just sort of standards dropping a wee bit. That's it, I've had a go there, but I always say to the boys, like, as you say, you're coming away for your work, so you've been at the house all day, you've got wains in the house, you're going away for your wife, you're going away for your wains, you're going to come here and mess about. Like, why would you, like, what's that? If you're cheating your wife and wains, like, come here, keep everything you've got, put it in properly. If you're going to be out the house, do your family justice with that, do come out, put everything in. I like to have a laugh and like to have a joke. We've known each other a long time. I like a carry on. But when you're working, you're like proper grafting, you're grafting, and there's probably the Gruffalo part comes into it as well, I suppose.
And do you notice that as a trend then? Let's say, after you've had your 2 sessions, right, and it's not quite hit the mark, And then a Saturday, you getting into that dreading it, or you sort of noticing when you're having a couple of bad sessions, it normally results in a bad performance, or just it's not always a pattern like that. Like you can have a couple of shite sessions and then they get and smash it at the weekend.
It's a mentality thing, really. It's more. I'm sort of hard on the boys that way because work harder when we've won a game. See, you get beat, it's maybe a bad one. So it's the old sort of, I run them into the ground. I don't really do that. If we get beat, say like, if we get beat and we've been. The shape's not been good enough for, finishes not been good enough or something like that. You can identify it's not been good enough. We should probably just make people run. Work on the stuff that's not been good enough. Whereas if we have one, I'll usually run the boys on the ground a wee bit, and that's when you can drill home what you enjoy that feeling. Well, let's go and get it again. You'll get 2 sessions to work at it. Like let's go. Well, obviously a Thursday's always a mere shape and football. Tuesdays, you're obviously further away for the game, so Tuesdays, we graft. It's a lot of football, we mostly football. I'm saying we graft. We get a wee bit of running and a wee bit of sharpness, but at this stage of the season, we're at February. I'm not getting boys fit in February. Like, if you're not fit now, you're as fit as you'll ever be this season. So we need to get grafting and we need to keep sharp, but I like that sort of mentality. Right, we've won a game, let's go and make sure we're digging in again here. We're not letting this winning thing go. And that's when I get my crab at us, to be honest with you, and I think that maybe you can ease off a wee bit because you've had a good result in the weekend. So that's probably where I'm most crab at, to be honest. I like to lift the boys. If we've had a bad one, we'll talk through. We always have a meeting on a Tuesday before we start training. If we have to, there's no point just getting stuff that you spoke about all the time, but if stuff needs addressed, we'll have a chat about the game at the weekend. We'll talk about what we're going to do the coming weekend or the coming week sessions. For the game on Saturday, how I see things shape them up. But then we'll try and lift. You can't have a hangover on a Tuesday for a bad result on a Saturday because it carries on to the next week. So you address it, deal with it, and then let's lift us and get us going again.
And what about, you sounds like you're obviously heavily involved with the training. Like, are you take the sort of Alex Ferguson approach to the club as like a whole? Are you sort of looking at the youth teams and looking for the sort of pathway for players coming for there into the sort of into your team, or like are you kind of hands off with that, like that sort of siloed, and whoever runs them at the different age groups just kind of does it himself?
So the teams we built, and we've built the youth academy. Our youth academy is the best thing about the club. It really is. The youth academy and the fans. The teams that we've got, it's been built up. I think we're adding an under-20s this season. For the next season, and then I think that's basically the full player pathway completed on the male side, and then we're going to be doing the same with the women's side as well. So the youth academy is amazing. When I went, it was always again social media. We'd done the first interview. I used to work with boys for Auchinleck and Cumnock, and when you go down there, like they're no Celtic Rangers fans, they're Auchinleck, Talbot or Cumnock fans, and you see them wearing the strips. It's mental. I was like, I want that for Ardeer. I want that Stevenson. Again, Ardeer's, when the Stevenson's a wee bit similar to when I was playing Talcross. Like, there's no of these go a lot, so it might be easier for mums and dads to get the ways to come to Ardeer. I mean, the ways getting for free, so it might be easier for them to come to Ardeer instead of getting up to Parkhead or Ibrox. So getting them in and getting them supporting Ardeer, getting them playing for Ardeer, they've all got their strips, and then the player pathway, hopefully they can come through. The first season we brought over under 20s, and because of the restriction we've got at the club, I had to bring in boys for the 20s. I can't go and sign a striker for big money or anything like that. But it's the best thing that happened to us. I think that now we've got 5 boys who've come through under 20s, who are first team starters week in, week out sort of thing. And that was also come for the year we got promoted. So it's definitely the way for a club like us to go. We'll never be out spending money on players or anything like that, so we've got to bring them players through.
And but you mentioned like the young team getting in for free. Have you noticed a difference in attendances? Obviously, when you went and took over to where it is that the kind of thing you track? Or?
Aye. So we do a thing, and again, it's primarily run by the committee now. I used to do it all, but now I've got a good committee there who run it. We've got people who's in charge of the youth academy, so they sort out the teams. I've got the youth academy teams that have been mascots every week. They hit their drum and that at the weekend, and they've got your wee pockets. And I'm talking about like the older ones with the flares and having a wee bit like having coming in with a wee bevy in them, and
their songs been colourful. See, the youth academy songs, I couldn't believe I was hearing it the weekend. So I need to have a word with their mums and dads, but we want them, it's the noise they bring, the enthusiasm. There's some cracking videos on the social media page. I think Greg scored his penalty on Saturday, and there's a video of the Waynes just watching it, and that bounce, mate. It's just, that pure love of football, pure joy. It was superb. It was great to see.
No, that sounds class, mate, to be fair. And what about, you spoke about the standard obviously being decent. Like, is there any players either like playing the new at junior level, either like in whatever Division 3 or divisions above, that you think, my God, that guy's fucking unbelievable in terms of talent? Because I always remember, like, when Paddy McCourt came over for Derry, for example, obviously folk in Scotland really paying attention to what's happening on Northern Ireland. Everybody's sort of thinking, fuck me, this guy's George Best, where's he been? It must be players like that in the juniors, and it's just maybe they've got family commitments or they've got a good job and they just can't be fucked with the travel going somewhere. So you ever seen like any real ballers doing there?
Definitely. I mean, we played Beeve in the cup earlier on in the season. The Beeve, obviously, they've won the Premier League. I actually think they're a better team this year than they were last year when Chris won the Premier League with them. I think they'll go and win it again. There's some smashing players out that play for Beeve. You get the boy Big Diver, he's a smashing big player. He played against us for Renfrew. He got his move to Beeve, and he's scoring all their goals. They've got a Callum Monty, I know he was at Celtic, he was at Dundee. Bags of ability and things happen, as you say. There's different circumstances, but there's a lot of really, really good players at this level of football, definitely. And it was the same even coming through for the amateurs. As I say, we were one of the better amateur teams, and people sort of look down at us, and Ardeer or Saltcoats or even your Irvine Vicks, and I always say to them, like, see if at Kilbride Thistle we'd taken a bad result, see if we need a wee confidence booster for a friendly during the week, I'd phone one of the teams, say you want a game, we'll play friendly. We were better than the teams. So the players at the top amateur are sometimes better than the players at bottom junior. Top junior's better, like it. I always find that's where it is, and there may be other things that stop them taking that next step. There's also the shambles that is the pyramid, and it's obviously well above us just now, but the one team getting up to one team getting promoted, one team getting relegated for the seniors. At our level, the teams that we've got in our Premier League, they go and merely compete with the majority of teams in that Lowland League, and then to get promoted again, it's no, as they say, it's like obviously the people that are voting for these rules are the people that could potentially get relegated, so they're not going to vote for their own relegation and things like that.
I was going to ask you about that because I think it was Gordon Smith when he was at the SFA. I think he was involved with helping to get that restructured. I'm actually hoping to get him on at some point, hopefully. But what is your take on the pyramid system? Does it need to be reformed again? And if it is going to be reformed, what would you like? Because I think the teams that have went up, they're obviously, some of them are flying through the divisions, aren't they? So the standard is obviously there.
Aye, there needs to be more promotions. We've got the 3 different regions that eventually try and get into the different leagues and things like that. So your promotion relegation is one up, one down. It's not right. Again, it could be the old turkeys don't vote for Christmas thing. They're not going to get themselves relegated, things like that. But teams, and this is all levels as well, teams are voting. I mean, you look at, you might go into the top league in Scotland, I should have a 12-team league. But the teams are not going to vote for less games against Celtic and Rangers because they're taking a hit financially, things like that. We should be extending that. We should be revamping all the leagues, in my opinion, especially the pyramid system. Teams, there should be a lot more teams going up, 3 down, is my opinion. But unfortunately, the votes isn't the way us at our level. The votes are the leagues that are going to come down. So that's why it's not going to change through a vote for teams. It's going to need to take somebody stepping in and say, no, we need to get this sorted properly.
Fan-led participation maybe something, because it seems like there's a conflict of interest there, because they've probably got a financial interest thinking if we're in the football league and the sort of professional levels that I don't know, maybe driving bigger attendance. I don't know what's happened to like Albion Rovers when they went down, if it's made any difference to things like that.
Well, I think if you look at the teams that were in the long league, they've struggled, and teams are taking over them. Again, it's that thing that we looked at it, we were at Kilbride just flipping it again. We knew that if we went in and competed, we would overtake some of the teams at the bottom. I'm not saying we'd have went all the way up, we would definitely overtake teams at the bottom. and that's the same at our level, higher up. The teams that come down, they'll get passed by. There's some right good teams there. Obviously mixed in with East Kilbride and things like that, and Trinent are a good team. There's loads of good teams, but even like your Talbots and Beeve, these teams at the other side of things. Clydebank are a good team. Pollock a massive club. I know they're having the difficulties just now, but loads of massive clubs that are better than most of these clubs that are just hanging on for dear life because they've got a vote.
So what's the difference in standard then? Like in terms of why are the teams that are going up sort of doing well and competing and overtaking these teams that have obviously been in the sort of professional club system or the professional leagues for a longer time?
I think there's a few different things. I think these clubs are more exciting. You know, if who you want to play for, a team that's hanging on or a team that's firing or look to fire up. Just with the mentalities of the clubs, and that's a hard thing, and that's not something that I criticise these teams for, because I get it is hard. You're fighting for your lives for a lot of them, and that's not the club's fault. That's situations are dictating that, maybe finances, things like that. The teams that are pushing up are obviously well financially backed as well, so we're not kidding ourselves. I'm sure they'll be paying good wages. I don't know them. I'm not saying Peter are splashing cash. If I had it, I would spend it. That's what I'll say that just now. That's not a criticism. But you pay better wages, you get better players. But I think the excitement of the clubs, what these fresh clubs are building on, even like your Cove and things like that have come up, they're exciting clubs. Not just exciting first teams, they're exciting clubs, exciting environments. Whereas your teams that have come down, again, they look at Albion Rovers, they're probably a bit run down. They've no stands problem. East Kilbride setups, probably a nicer setup than Albion Rovers. You know, like and that's not criticism of Albion Rovers. There's only so much these clubs can do because financially they're crippled, a lot of them.
Aye, well, it goes back to what you're saying, I suppose. Like the Albion Rovers are in a community where a lot of people are probably supporting the big teams, you know, and I'm obviously, like yourself, you know, we're for, well, you could say the west of Scotland, that's where we've sort of been brought up and stayed most of our life, but obviously sports sort of one of the big teams in Glasgow, so it is difficult for wee clubs, and I do appreciate that.
I don't know what your excuse is, but I was bald 5 minutes for Select Park. I would always support your local team, so if anybody's want to come and watch Ardeer, then we're just in there.
Aye. So, you know how obviously in like, professional fitba, you always hear about like managers phoning other managers, like the young managers will maybe say, phone fucking Gordon Strachan or Sir Alex Ferguson for a bit of advice. You get anybody that you can sort of phone, and this is if you've got Sir Alex in the phone book, it's time to pass it over here.
No, they don't answer the phone, mate. They just blank it. No, we train. Do you know what? I'm a pure geek, right? And I'd mentioned there was a thing that was on, it was down to divisions, and it's different managers. So I'll listen into everything that everybody's saying, listen to different podcasts, listen to different interviews. If I see a manager, I'll sort of bend his ear a wee bit and try and feed in. I'm quite comfortable. There's a thing that I go by, don't be the smartest guy in the room. I like to ask questions. I want to learn. I'm big on that. I don't know everything. I might act like I do sometimes, but I don't know everything, and I'm quite comfortable with that. I'm always wanting to ask questions. There's other managers that I'm quite close with, but I don't know if I phone them. I've got good guys with me just now. As I say, I mentioned to Michael Wardrobe. I hate saying my assistant because I feel that's sometimes a bit disrespectful saying that. I mean, what Michael's done in the game. My opinion, Michael's the greatest ever goalkeeper at our level. If I've watched it. Big Leishman's a close second to one of it with Talbot as well. But Michael's in with me running it, so Michael's good for me to get advice for, and he's not slow in telling me either, which is what I need. That's exactly what I need. So there's nobody that I really seek out and phone. There's other managers will have a blether way and things like that. I mean, but nobody that I would say that I really seek out and phone or anything like that.
How about after the game? I know in the professionals it's sort of customary, I think, where they say, we'll invite them in for a wee glass of wine and you sharing a bit of tonic and that after the game. Or
cider.
Cider, is
cider, like a cider after the game.
Does that actually happen? Like, do you go into like whatever, I don't know, the fucking dressing room, or if they've got like a wee bit of the stadium, is that like a thing?
We always invite people in for a drink, and you put on food and things like that in the bar, and I remember like let's say Caddo's come back, sitting with Southie, sitting with Caddy, he's now at Glenafter, and even at the weekend, had a pint with Shug after the Glasgow United game. So it's nothing personal. It might sound personal when you're shouting back forward at each other, but it's no personal. And again, I'm a big boy that way, that you don't hold a grudge and anything like that. You shake hands at the end, and as I say, I would always offer, as I say, it's a sign. I'll try and get Amy pay for it, but we'd always offer a drink. If there's no pay for it, I'll take out the committee money.
And is that sometimes the best sort of part of it? Like after it, you sort of all have a drink together and have a laugh. Like, is that that's part of the camaraderie of the game, I suppose? It's
something that I've enjoyed is meeting. I mean, at the amateurs, I was also sort of part of the Ayrshire Select squad and things like that as well. So I knew everybody in Ayrshire amateur football. So coming into this level of football, it was getting to meet new people, new relationships, all that sort of thing. So it has been good to see. It is good sort of bending their ear, asking what they think, getting opinions and things like that. I'm really enjoy that. I'm quite a sociable guy anyway. So I like to have a pint, and I like to invite other managers back. And Brian Blair, who's the Fanatic manager, they're flying just now there in the league. Brian and his team come back to Station Bar, who's a sponsor just doing for the stadium. They sat for a good tour in a bit, and spoke to him and his coaches, and a couple of pints. Well, I had a couple of pints. Brian was doing a 5k or something, so I was probably busting his nut by the time he was like up the road. But it was good to sit and have a chat with him after it and things like that.
Good. And what about, you mentioned like when you were involved with doing the amateur select stuff, is there anybody that you've sort of seen at your level you've sort of maybe put on to somebody that's went on to like do good things in the game that you can think about?
Well, one of the stories is Ross Stewart, who's now at Southampton. Ross was actually at Ardeer. He started off at Ardeer Thistle. Big Cookie signed him, and it was a weird one because I was at Kilbride and I had Lloyd Mark McDonald, Big Ginge. He was at Sonora this season. He played for Hurlford and he's at Winton now. So Big Ginge is thick as mince, honestly. He's the thickest boy I've ever met in my life, possibly. Goalie and a scaffolder, which chance you got. But he's a good big boy. Me and I were close, and he's really pally with Ross Stewart. So at the time at Kilbride, I was trying to get Ginge to get Ross to come to us. But then Ross has ended up getting his move. I think he went Albion. No, he went to Buffs. Then I think it was Albion Rovers, St Mirren, ended up at Ross County, Sunderland, and Southampton have signed him for 10 million. I could have ruined that boy's career at Kilbride if I wanted.
You're wanting a signing on for you, wanting your percentage for that?
See what I can do.
And what about, we've sort of touched on, it seems like you're sort of heavily involved with the sort of community side of things like this. Like, why is junior club sort of important for the community?
Again, I can't speak for every other community, and I can't speak for every other club. I can only speak for Ardeer. And Ardeer, and as I touched on earlier, what me and Stephen was saying, it sort of resonates with me with Amphie as well, for Tollcross, a place where community spirit is, I'm not going to say it, speak to people today, you chap your neighbour's door for a cup of sugar and all that. You didn't do that at Tollcross, you get chased. But, you look after your day, it's
you can do it in Sandy Hills though.
Sandy Hills is the Tollcross. I don't get me started. But it's one of the ones. It is that area where you're not brought up with much, but you do look after each other as well. There's a lot of good people there that just don't have much, so it sort of resonates with me for being Tollcross. And I think if we can, especially the Wains, if we can give them something, a focus, something, a passion that they look at, and and want to come into the gun. But then again, it also flips onto the local businesses. If we can go to the cafe, get them for, like, make money in there, the local pubs, even then when you've had a drink, go to the kebab shop, the local, or just wee things, if just make everything busier, it makes the area better, it builds things up. I mean, the support that we get is brilliant already. Different companies that are coming in sponsoring us, but maybe even ones that can't fully sponsor you, like, but they'll offer you free haircut, like the man who makes a free haircut, just loads of things like that. And it's a case of what we've got, we'll give you, and that's what you can ask of people. And as long as it's not something that we take lightly, we really want to give that back to the community as well. We don't underestimate the role we've got in the community, and we want to help Stevenson get better as well.
I know, that's brilliant, mate. And you, I think I'd asked you this before, but you took Ardeer up, right? Like, in your sort of time, and you've already got them promoted.
Aye, but I took them back down, I know. We got relegated the next year. But aye, we got promoted the first year. As I say, I don't like, if somebody says you've done something well, I just bring it back down straight away. But we done well the first year. As I say, when we went in, there was no players, there was nothing. We were in sort of flying under the radar, and I think we spoke a lot about getting a quick start, because I thought teams would underestimate us. Whether they did or didn't, I don't know, but I think we won the first 8. We were flying, the fans were singing about winning the league and all of that. We had Cambuslang Rangers, we had Gartcairn, we St Cadocks, Thornleywood, loads of really good teams. So I knew we weren't going to win the league, but I thought, when's the last time the fans sung that? Let them sing it, let them enjoy themselves. And then we played Cambuslang at home one night and they scudded us, and I was like, right, that's us back there for a bang then. But to be fair to the boys, we bounced back after that, and we held our own in that league. I think we finished 5th. So that was excellent. It was a really good achievement, and it was something I was really proud of for the boys, because, as I say, it was overcoming the obstacles at the start, people doubting you and things like that. But to be fair, we'd spoke about it internally, and it sort of gave us one of the weird sort of kicks, weird motivations that proving people wrong. I enjoy that side of things. Gets, you know what, I let them say what they want, but we'll go and prove it different, sort of thing. Giving you a wee bit of fire in your belly and a chip on your shoulder. I quite like that side of things. So the boys done that, credit to them. It was a great season. It was a long season. But we were lucky because at the start, I think the big thing for us is starting early. It was Saturday, Monday, Saturday, Wednesday, like for a while. So like, the momentum, I mean, if we started and get beat the first couple of games, you know, momentum started to dig out that way. But the momentum was gone for us, and we were just rolling on and winning. So it was excellent, and it was a good time. I mean, we were going up to Govan on a Wednesday, down to Kell on a Wednesday, and again, the talk about the fans, they're taking minibuses on a Wednesday night. Like, you know, they're making themselves heard as well. They're not the shyest group of boys ahead of the fans and ladies. So it was.
Is this the Ardeer Ultras, is it?
We've got there's a few names, Ardeer Right Crew, and aye. And I mean, these are guys that's all done me and you, by the way. But they're legends, they're absolutely brilliant. And see, to be honest, that's what you're doing it for, because I always say, and I still say that to the boys now, it's their club. It was their club before we came here. I want to improve things. I want things to get a lot better, but I still don't want to take that Brenda Stevenson thing out of Ardeer. I mean, you go to other clubs and they've got best everything, but it's like a library. I want Ardeer to be a bit rough. You know, I want it to be a bit of personality about it, sort of thing. And with it, as I say, it's their club. I'll be here as long as I'm wanted, and as long as we keep going and keep progressing and keep taking the club forward. I'm in no rush to go anywhere else. If they decide they don't want me to be here, then that's a different story. As I say, it's their club. But just now, I'm well and happy with what we're doing, and I've got a long time doing this, so I'm in no rush to do anything else.
Oh, that's good, mate. Do you feel that, like, see when you are flying, right, and you're winning 8 in a row and you're getting promoted and all the rest of it, like when you get into the boozer and that, or you're seeing them just running about the sort of community, like, can you feel that for them, you know, that sort of pride and thinking, you know, fuck, you know, this, you know, you're helping this year, you're helping their morale, you know, just as, even their mental health sort of thing.
Do you know, it's easy when you're winning, and it's easy for everybody to jump in the bandwagon when you're winning, and there was a lot of that as well. Do you know, some of the best things is, and I don't need it, listen, I'm alright, I don't need to let people say, oh, you'll be alright, we sort of, you know, you know that. But see, like, the fans when we've lost a couple, they'll send you a message here, and you'll say, listen, we still see what's happening, we see what you're doing, you know, we'll still back you, all that sort of thing. So to the players, to the fans are that invested, it is that close. They can send me a message, somebody just send you a message, by the way, I think that was absolutely rotten today, and it's hard to argue sometimes, but they're also very, as I say, the good times are easy to go away, but fair play to them sometimes when I don't take defeats well, mate. Like last season I was going home, and obviously, as I say, we got relegated last year. There was a load of different things that They went into it, it led to it. Ultimately, I wasn't good enough for my job. That's why we got relegated. Nainies were good enough. But I never dealt with defeats very well. I would go home, just shut the curtains, like sitting darts for hours and hours and hours, just getting at it in your head and things like that. And then that would carry on for a couple of days, and I just couldn't shake it off. But I'm trying to change that now because it doesn't have a good effect on you. So I try to change how I do it. I'm more likely to have a quiet night if we win now. I try and get out. See if we've not had a good result, I'll try and get out. Try and get away, try and take my mind off it, try and go and do something. Whether it's go to the pub or, you know, go and get my pool, meet your pals, you know, like, try and get away from football. But as I say, it's easy when you're winning, but the good thing about them is when we've had a couple of bad results, they'll send you, or me or the players or something like that, send a message and listen, heads up. Well, like, if they're saying that, if they're telling us to get our heads up, we can't mope about it. We need to go and fight for them again.
Aye, and that's interesting you mentioned that. It's sort of been doing and locking yourself away for a couple of days there, which like sounds like you're recognising probably like unhealthy doing that, right? So have you discovered any like coping mechanisms like for yourself that maybe other people could use when things like that happen? Because it's not just fitba, you know, maybe somebody gets bad news at work or you've got a family issue, you know, everybody suffers with their mental health at some point, so you might have some coping strategies that can help somebody who's listening to this potentially.
I think the worst thing you can do, in my experience, I can only talk about myself. Everybody's mind works different, you know, you can't tell them how to behave and deal with things. I'm the worst when I lock myself away. You know, you just stare at the walls and things like that. I mean, football's football, but it has a mega effect on you, sorry. But just in general, like there was stuff going on last year with running the club and things like that I say that had a bad effect on me, and you know, and everybody does have mental health and things like that. And I'm not saying I was anything at all, but it's just one of the ones that we need to take care of ourselves. You take care of it. I'm cheating to say this at here, this size, but you need to take care of yourself physically, and you need to take care of yourself mentally. And as you say, there is some things that things can get tappy at times, and we're all human. But I wasn't dealing with results very well. I was going home, and as I say, lock myself away. And if we were getting beat more often, we get relegated, so we obviously were. There was a lot of long weekends sitting with a curtain shut, you know, and it's no good for you that way. So probably my tip, going to the pub and having a pint as well isn't the best idea for people sometimes. But I like to try and go away. Like I say, my pals up in Mesco Bride out the wife for the football, we're going for a game of pool, go back up to Tollcross, just get away, go a drive. One of the best bits of therapy for me is taking a dog a walk. Love my dog shirt. It's got a dog loves her dog. It's a stupid thing to say. So I'm just hating your dog in the house. Just keep beating the dogs here and all. Man. How can things go worse? But just take the dog. Like, we're lucky doing it away with the beach and all that. Just that's great therapy. Take the dog a big long walk along the beach, leaving the phone in the motor, and just a big long walk. The dog's always happy to see you, so the dog's great therapy for me.
Aye, no, definitely. I think that would be my advice, and I think it's about finding the sort of balance, and you know, whatever sort of works for you, just to kind of take you away from that sort of that negative frame of mind sometimes. So even if it is going for a pint or a couple of pints, then that's fine. There's always a reason why we've got that sort of culture here. You know, it does help you go off some steam. What about some of your trips then? Like any sort of best memories of trips, either with Ardeer or for your West Coast Ride days that you can tell us about? Because I think camaraderie sort of spoke about in the fitba a lot in terms of the banter and the stuff that goes on in the dressing room. So anything that you can share us for that, for a kind of happier, funny perspective maybe.
I love bus journeys. I love away days. One of the worst ones actually was played at Stuart pre-season there, so I'd all geared up. I'd organised the game and all that. Stuart away down Bidon, free something like that. Brilliant, man. So every year I try to organise a bus journey. But this year, I've been new to Stuart. Mate. Horrible. I'll never go back.
I don't even know where it is.
To be honest, away down Bidon Free Sweat anyhow. Everything's away. See if Eric's by Governor, it's away down Bidon Free as far as I'm concerned. But we were driving down, and I get bad car sick. I need to drive all the time. I was driving the bus, obviously. So we're driving down, we get to Girvan, and you're like, right, that's fine. They've stopped. The drivers have got to stop. I think it's like a 2 and a bit journey or something like that. So we're back in. So everything's sort of motorway, bypass to the Girvan, and then you've got the signal roads, but it's alright. And then you cut off and you go to Newton Stewart, and it's turn and turn and turn and turn. And by the time you'll get, I'm thinking I'm going to be sick the full way down. And time we get after the bus, I've like, the boys, you'll need to gear up all this stuff. I'm going to change it and I'm going to be sick here. So the Newton Stewart came out, they're all lovely guys, they're all like to welcome you. I'm knocking them out the way, trying to changing them. So the boys always walk out and the changing room gets set up with the kits and all that. And I'm out and I've had a right, and I'm saying to Michael, if you go into the team talk here, I said, I can't speak to the boys, I'm fucked. I'm going to be sick. And we could, I've just been sick of all that too. We won that game, but the team talk must have been the worst team talk in the world. The bus home, by the way, there was no car sickness. I don't know how that happened. We were all steaming.
That's when the ciders kicked in.
That's when it was. The ciders were there. It was a great journey, but there's been loads. One of the Kilbride Thistle, I think we got the last 16 of the Scottish, and that was probably one of my favourite seasons at Kilbride in football. I think our draws were, we were away to Aberdeen, we were away to Alva, and that's Clackmannanshire. Aberdeen again, up in Glasgow. Just every draw we got was just a bus journey, and it was superb. And one of the ones, I think it was to take us into the quarters. That's when the Christmas night out. And one of the boys, I'm not need him obviously, one of the boys he just lost his job, which happens, not to be embarrassed about, he just lost his job. And the type of team that we were, the boys had always says, right, well, we're all stick a five. Never told him, but we're all put like just a 5 or 10 in, and ended up here. We gave him the money. Nobody's missing a night out for not having money. If he could miss his on the letting, something like that, fair dues. But if it's money, we'd never let him miss a night out for that. And the wee one went up, and with his free kick, it was unreal. I think we won 2-1, but he started up to bend it with his right. So the goalie set up to his wall for it to the right one, and then he just, because he could have done it with his right, he just moved there, left foot, bent it out the wall, just other one. He ended up getting it that night and made money in anyways, because if they had a whip round for him, people like, oh, lay it one thick. But that was our Christmas jumper night, we always had a Christmas jumper. So I'm thinking after it, imagine we get beat there, we'll get back to their boozer to start with, and Alva and Clackmannanshire or whatever it is, some wee old man boozer, we're all obviously bouncing about, quite delighted. They're all raging, we've got the Christmas jumpers on. I think we get into Glasgow about 7 o'clock, and have these up the tables. I can't remember where it was, up Sauchiehall Street somewhere, but we're stuck. The videos come on my timeline on Snapchat, like your memory thing, and it tells you the time when the video's recorded at 8:30 at night and all that, and have these well going up these tables. I think we get kicked out, and I think some of them don't get home that night and things like that. But the memories and things like that are like you can't buy the things. They're just class times.
No, absolutely, mate. And so, what about just the ambition for Ardeer? Then, like, how far can you take it with Ardeer? Sounds like you're saying obviously about the loyalty and that. I think you're potentially going to be there for a while with the looks and things. So, where do you think you can get them to?
Well, listen, we need to do well this season. That's the first and foremost thing. We need to make sure that we get in. Our league's so tight this year. I think for promotion to relegation, there's like 8 points in it, and we're in the middle of that. We could. I've said to the boys our season, but it's easy to go up as we are to go down. So we need to just make sure we get the figures that we put a fair few wins together now. If we can put a run together, then like you could do anything. Bank consistency has been a problem for everybody in the league this year. That's why most teams are still in with a shout, because the inconsistency. Long term, as I say, I want the club to be stable. I want us to bring in change of mentality, bring in more players who are going to take the standards up, get more at the boys that we've got, and then we'll just keep building. Like a club like Ardeer, it's hard to see what in this division or that division. We need to finish this season strong. As I say, I think even though it's going to be my 4th season, I think next year will be the first time I get to actually build on the squad that I've got, because it's always been rebuilding. So I want to keep the majority of the squad that we've got, and then build on it with a few added into that, and then I think then you probably get judged out. That's me building on a team. Now, I've never been had the chance to do that. Again, should have done better last season. That's not an excuse, but I'd like to have the chance to go and build on my team that I've got now, and see if we can make that better. I mean, we drew a lot of games at the start of the season with flashes of good stuff and then some silly stuff. But as I say, we've brought 19 players this year. It took a while to click. So we're still, I don't want that next season. I want us to be settled, going into pre-season. Here's what we're doing, here's who we are, adding a couple more in, and then really kicking on next season, because there's good examples of teams running about that have done that. And we definitely can do that as well.
Have you ever encountered that? Because maybe obviously boys are working on that. If you maybe have to, I don't know how they work it, maybe play a game on Saturday, Wednesday and a Sunday, and then obviously nobody can make them if they get shift commitments and stuff like that.
Aye, towards the end of the season they can sometimes cram in midweek games today at the start. The biggest problem is, and I tell my boys all the time, they put the fixtures out and the boys will go, we've got a free week this week and we've got a free week that week, and then they'll plan stuff, and I'll be like, see, that game will get cancelled, that's got to be rearranged, that's falling into that week there. So then you say, see your night out you've cancelled, see your this or that, cancel that, because we're not doing that, we're playing football again. So things like that come into it, and that's the sort of nature of the beast ways, you know, like they need to squeeze games in. As you say, it's either you're going to be midweek when people are working shifts, it's going to be a Saturday, it's meant to be a free week. But it's just one of the ones, you just need to stay prepared, just try and win as many games as you can in that time. And you've sacrificed, I say to the boys all the time, see, we're planning for Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, for first day of pre-season to the last day of the season. I'll tell you when the last day of the season is, when the season's finished. So we go to that, you know, as I say, I'm a bit of a moaner sometimes, things like that, wee things that, last year I was meant to go to Lisbon with my old man. It was a present for Santa. Me and my dad, I think, like just the 2 years ago on holiday, it was one of the ones like with Christmas morning, all this, and we're not going great. My dad's my best pal, my dad's my best pal. But I remember at Christmas morning, and he get an envelope and I get an envelope. It was like, I go to Lisbon and we're looking at each other like, who else has gone? Like, me and you for 3 days? Like, what are we going to talk about? What are we going to do? But we went, and it was meant to be like, it was obviously my mum and my sisters that had booked it, and they had looked at the fixture list, and obviously right, the season finishes then, so they planned it for then. But before the game's cancelled in January, so the season then rolled on. So I cancelled the holiday basically, and it was one of the ones that was like, so we selling men and got to Lisbon and got to the Stadio Olimpico and all that sort of thing, and it's a big deal, and they're talking about changing it up, they're talking about changing the stadium and things, so we wanted to get out there and experience it, but I'm not missing, wouldn't even miss training, I just wouldn't do it. So it cost about £400 to get the dates later. It was brilliant, it was a great holiday, I'm delighted we've done it, but that's the kind of thing players would do that, and I don't really expect them to do it either, but again, it's one of the ones I get a bit agitated. I sort of joked to the boys, I said, £400 that cost me, you still get us relegated.
And what about that, like you're talking about, obviously, and I think that's fair dues, obviously, you can't expect folk, obviously, that's quite a commitment for you to sort of cancel your holidays well there, but how do you deal with moments like that when boys are maybe saying, I can't make that game because I've got this or that, or how do you deal with it?
Not very well. There's
any examples? Because some folk must be at it sometimes. I'm guessing somebody must go out and make mad with it, and then he's meant, fuck, I'll need to make something up here.
No, see, to be fair, I tell the boys, like one of the boys, Jack Taylor, Jack's a great boy, he's been really good for me, and I use him as an example. Jack used to send me a text and it would be 8 lines. Jack's always there, by the way. Jack there really misses it, but if for some reason he's going to miss it, he would send me the first line, just to let you know I'm not going to be there, and then there's 8 more lines. I just always say to him, see, if you sent me that first line, I don't give a fuck what your excuses is for the rest of it. You're telling me you're not coming, you're in the bad books, don't speak to me, that's it, job done. And I always say, Jack, what happens after the first line of the text message? He stops reading it, don't make excuses, so the boys know I don't like it at all. But they don't get back in unless I've got to as well. Like, that's one of my rules is it also comes down to the boys that are there to make sure they don't get back in. But it's always been a rule, if you go on holiday, you're costing the team. You'll struggle to get back in straight away. You're going to earn it. You're going to start the bottom again and work your way back in. And you've got to standards. You've got to have rules. It frustrates boys, but it's also one of the ones like boys come and say, "I'll be back for 2 weeks and I'm not in." I say, "What have you been doing? Just showing up. It's not enough to get you back to the team. Like, go and do something. Like, just because you've been here, you're ticking a box by saying you've come to training, but you've come to a game. Go and impress. Go and do something to actually get back to the team. Somebody's got your place. Just because you've been here a week or two doesn't mean to say that's all forgiven and you're back in. You need to go and earn it." But again, it's trying to get standards up and try to get them taking their own control of the changing room and setting their own standards as well. That's a big thing for players, I think.
It seems like you've got a decent relationship with him anyway, the way you're sort of talking about him there. What about like any more sort of difficult moments, like during COVID and all that sort of stuff, maybe when the boys couldn't play? Because like we're talking about, your sort of physical activity is a big outlet for you, you know, in terms of your mental stuff. So when the boys, they sort of trust you, they start to unload on that, and how do you cope with that sort of stuff?
I would like to think so. I'd like to think we've got a good relationship. I sort of tell players that if they come in, I'll say, and that's players that have left as well, I say, "Listen, you're one of my boys now, and I'll do everything I can to look after you. It's not just about football. I try and get to know their families and look after them and try and I take that really, really seriously." During COVID, I was quite vocal, which will probably surprise you.
Majorly surprised me.
But I wrote letters to politicians. I've had stuff read out in Parliament, all that stuff.
Who was writing them for you?
Listen, see whether you're all right, yeah. But so I'd sent text messages to politicians and to Parliament. But it was like, for me, and it was touched on in the last episode, mental health was a pandemic there. Of course, COVID was a serious thing, but mental health was a pandemic, especially at that time. We were getting told, obviously I was taught with amateurs, the rules were shambles. Juniors could go back playing and training, but amateurs couldn't. We've got to work together, you know, like just, we know there's a lot of rules that didn't make sense. There was one day, obviously I wouldn't name the person, but I was at a drive, and you'll know it was going along the high road in Stevenson, going into Saltcoats, and I seen one of my players at a walk, and I was at a drive, and I'd put the window down, it was across the road, and I'd shout to Airtel, and he sort of just kept walking. I thought he must have his headphones in. I shouted at her again, he's just no reaction, no getting it to him. So, you know, you can shout louder. He's got his attention. I'm looking at him and I could see something wasn't there, something was gone. And he's come round, obviously again, social distance, so he's coming to the passenger side and talking through the window, and I said, "Where you going?" "I'm just at a walk." I'm like, "Where are you going?" And I was like, "Get in the fucking motor." When he got in, and broke down, and basically he was going to walk and wasn't sure if he was going to come back up the road or not. He was in a bad place, and that affected me big time. So it's something that, as I say, it's something that I really worry about with the boys, to be honest. Know that they gave me reason to worry about it. It's just because of that, and that's the truth. I do care about the boys. They are. I have got a thing that I say is, I don't say arseholes or not. Like, personality comes into it as much as anything. You're trying, so we work with each other a lot. We speak to each other every day. We're a tight unit. So it does really. I take my role when looking after them very seriously. Sometimes too much. Sometimes I pamper them a wee bit, or you know, I can be a bit of a pain in the arse and all. You know, like just want to make sure they're all right and things. But I always say that's just the type of guy I am. And I won't change. Like, I'm a caring guy. I want to make sure things are right. I can give you a bit up the arse and all if you want it. But that day, that's something that sticks with me, and it's something I'll always remember. And it scared me. It scared me a lot, to be honest. And it's something that you hear the stories, and I say we know people who have obviously lost their life to mental health and things like that. But that one is to sort of hit you in the face sort of thing. It was something that will stick with me, and it's something that
that does stick in my mind, and where I'm dealing with boys, is there any differences in their behaviour? Of the sort of louder ones went quiet. I'm massive on WhatsApps and things like that. Like, I've done the WhatsApp. We even stupid things like during COVID, we did a high selfie Saturdays. We still do that now, and it was just based on every Saturday. You check in, you take a photo, and it's just a daft photo. But I just made it as a way as a sort of just having a joke. But it was just check in. Who's not done their selfie Saturday? You know how stupid it is, but it's just that way. Can you speak on a chat? Because you know, if you're in that situation, you don't want to speak. Take a selfie is the last thing on your mind. As stupid as that sounds, but it was just my way of trying to get the boys to engage and no distance themselves and things like that. And it's, like, I don't know if there's a right way of doing things, but I think the boys know my heart's in the right place most of the time. I might be a bit of a pain in the arse at times with it, but my heart's in the right place, and it's more than football for me. I take my role very seriously. We're looking after, it's a lot of young boys that we've got as well, so I take my role very seriously with that.
I know, it sounds like fake, mate, when that happened, to be honest.
Aye, possibly. I don't know if I'm saying I'm glad it did. Obviously, I'm relieved that it did. You know, some people just drive by and mean the nicest thing and just took the horn and wave and all that, you know, but just me, you could talk for Scotland, just stop and talking and I don't know, for some reason, driving by and seeing them, some reason that was meant to happen. I think, get your spot on it, mate.
Aye, no, definitely. I was listening to another podcast there, and I can't remember which one it was, so I can't sort of shout out, but they were saying that there was a guy who, I don't know where it was either, I don't think it was Scotland, but he was sort of saying he was sort of feeling suicidal, and then he like went out of the house, and then somebody just said hello to him, and then the cunt was like, that changed his mind basically. He just, after that, he went and sort of sorted his life out, and he went, if that person hadn't said hello to me, then he reckons he would have sort of committed, you know, which is scary to think about. And folk always sort of say, oh, you know, it's okay to be not okay and that, but I think we could be doing a wee bit better in terms of just being nicer to folk, or just saying hello to your neighbours and all that. Like,
it's mental, isn't it? Mental to say that. It's probably a wrong word, but you know what I mean. It's to say that, like, you don't know the difference you can have in somebody's day by just saying hello, passing, how you doing, how's it going?
Just not being a prick, basically.
Aye, how do I say that? Aye, don't be a prick.
Aye, I think we'll end it there. That seems like good life advice, mate.
I sometimes don't take it myself, but
no, honestly, Sean, I really appreciate you doing this, mate, and hopefully get Ardeer promoted this year and next year, and we'll get you back in, mate.
Thank you very much, mate. Good luck with it, Paul. Doing great, mate.
I appreciate it, mate. Thank you. Cheers, buddy.